Hey everybody, Crystal Gamer here, and welcome to a new speed build video. I'm excited about this one for a few reasons. One, I haven't put out a speed build in a while. I've been doing tutorials and challenges and all of this other stuff, and I haven't done a speed build in a while, and so I'm happy about having a build video. But the other part of this that's kind of cool is for those of you that are watching my LP series with Katarina, this is a family home with significance, because this home belongs to Katarina's best friend and her family. And the thing is the families, Katarina's parents and her friend Danny's parents, were all best friends. They were very close all together. And so the families used to hang out together, and that's how Katarina and Danny how they became best friends. And so I built this home a few weeks ago for my LP. I think it was episode 8 or 9. Those of you that are watching it might even know better than me. I'm losing track of the episode numbers, but the one that where she went back to her hometown and all of that. I have part 1 out now. As I'm recording this, I have part 1 of that out now, and part 2 is probably going to come out in a couple of weeks because I'm taking a little time off. I'm going to be out of town for a little while, but so anyway, I built this during that week. It was a lot of fun. There's so much building and so much stuff to do that week to get ready for that episode. But it was basically so that I could go back in time to Katarina's best friend's house and their family and all of that. And obviously once this house is built, it's built, which is great. So I can use it for future episodes and stuff like that if I want to do flashbacks and things like that. So, and I suspect for those of you that watch my LP, I think it's going to kind of probably go back and forth a little bit between being like regular LP and hitting the story part of it here and there, because I want to make sure that the story moves, but yet in a way, I would almost like to do just the story machinima thing kind of all the time, because I think it's pretty cool, but it's so much work that I can't do it on a regular basis. But I figure I'll probably bounce back and forth between the two things, because I do like doing the whole story thing, and I think people like that. And so anyway, speaking of the whole story thing, so this belongs to Danny, which is Katarina's little best friend. Little in this time period, she's little, and she has an older brother. And you know what? I need to double check the names. How crazy is that? Because I'm not 100% sure. I think, let's see if I'm right. Corey, it is. It's Corey, Garrett, and Rebecca. I had to name everyone too, and I wanted to make sure I was correct on the names. So it's Danny is Katarina's best friend, and then Corey is her older brother. And then mom is Rebecca, and dad is Garrett, and they have 3 dogs. I had to really give myself a whole ton of work, right? But part of the thing, if you're watching my LP, is that Danny's dad, Garrett, is very into dog training. So that's kind of a big thing, and he picks up a lot of strays and stuff like that. So that's why they have 3 dogs. And their dogs, the old one is Jeb, and the middle one is Butch, and the new one is Lucky. So yeah, they've got a house full is what they have. But Katarina and her family used to spend a lot of time at this house when she was growing up. So it's significant for that reason. And there's even a piece of furniture in here that they donate to Katarina's family when they move, because he's military. Dad's military. And so they end up getting stationed overseas. And that's why they end up moving away when Katarina's in 10th grade. And why she kind of lost touch with Danny, her best friend, who she grew up with. Because, life happens, and when you go away, you always have good intentions. Oh yeah, we'll keep in touch. And then you don't. And Katarina, of course, those of you that are watching the LP, you know that she got involved with that guy that kind of controlled everything she did. So he didn't much like her talking to the best friend either. So he didn't want her talking to anyone else. He wanted complete control over her time and everything. So, they lost touch after Danny's family moved. But while they were growing up, this house played a big part of their youth, because they spent a lot of time here, and Katarina spent a lot of time here with Danny. So they had a lot of family dinners here and all of that stuff, with both families together and all of that, because this house is actually, they had a little bit more money than Katerina. They had a little bit more money than Katerina growing up. Katerina's dad, he ran fishing charters out of Brindleton Bay, but Danny's dad, he was an officer in the military, and so he made a little bit more money. And her mom used to be a fashion model and still did a little bit of modeling on the side, so they had a little bit more money. Whereas, Katerina's mom was a stay-at-home mom, so they sacrificed the money and to have her home more, So, but in any case, yeah, so that's kind of the deal with this house. And so it's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, and Corey's bedroom is downstairs. So the older boy has his bedroom downstairs, and then mom and dad are upstairs, and of course in the master suite. And then Danny has her bedroom, and everyone has their own bath in this house, which is kind of a nice luxury for this house. And they have a pretty good living dining area. I thought that for me, this is a pretty kind of regular build. It's more, I guess, normal than stuff I usually do. Kind of just standard what you would expect someone's home to look like. Kind of regular average home, I think. Although it depends where you live, whether or not this is a regular average home, right? Because in some countries it certainly wouldn't be, and in others it might be. So yeah, so this was their spot where they spent a lot of time, and they spent a lot of time out back. And I learned a few things doing this, because I had to test the family stuff and all of this. And I learned that ball pits in particular, I don't know if they're called ball pits or what they're called. That sounds so funny, right? Ball pits. Is that what they're called? I think they are, though, right? The kids, I don't know. It's like a box with a bunch of balls in it. But in any case, that thing, I put one in the yard, even though Danny's no longer a toddler. And I mean, Corey's much older, but I put one in the yard with my thought that they could use it. And I mean, how many movies have we seen where full-grown men jump into those things? So I thought that they could be used by any age, but The Sims have it restricted to so that it's toddler only. I was really bummed about that. I was like, I wanted to see the adults play in it and stuff, but it ends up getting changed out because it is toddler only. I couldn't use it for anyone in the family, so I end up changing out for a fire pit, which actually, to be honest with you, with the story, it probably works better anyway, because I have it in my head. Once I had to change it out to a fire pit, I put it in my head that the families used to get together over here, and in the spring and fall, they used to spend time out by the fire, hanging out, roasting marshmallows, doing barbecues, things like that. And so the fire pit actually makes more sense than this, whatever you call it, this ball pit. I'm gonna look that up and see if that's what they're called, because that just sounds so funny to me. But nonetheless, I did have to change that out. What else about this house is kind of interesting? I have one piece of furniture in the garage, a sofa, I think it is, that ends up getting handed down to Katerina's family. And that is, if you're watching the LP series, you know that I did a build challenge for Katerina's childhood home. And I ended up choosing, for the main part of the house, I ended up choosing Diana's house. And there was sort of a mismatched sofa set in there. So I wanted a story for that. Because I don't know why, but I like to have a story for like everything. And I thought, like, why would they have a mismatched sofa set? And I thought it would be perfect if Garrett got stationed overseas, they left, and maybe they gave some furniture pieces to Katerina and her family, because they do have more money than Katerina and her family. So, and if you've ever been in the military, you move around so much that it's a real pain. You don't take too much with you. Like you purge every single time you move. And when you're moving every 2 years and you're purging every 2 years, you don't collect nearly as much stuff. I've been where I live now for, oh God, I don't know, 15 years or something like that. I have so much crap now. If I were still moving every couple of years, I wouldn't have nearly the amount of junk that I have now. Probably 90% of what I own, I don't even need, use, whatever. But I think that's what happens too. And I live in America, and so, everything's bigger in the States, and we keep everything, and I don't know. We don't reuse enough. I've been to other countries, man, and some other countries are really good about reusing. They're a little bit less wasteful than, we're a little bit spoiled in the States, and we keep so much stuff that we don't, and we get so much stuff that we don't need. I stopped doing that. Now that I've gotten older, I'm a lot more conscious of that. And my husband and I want to do this thing, maybe, hopefully. We've talked about it a lot when we retire, to get an RV and try a year or two of RV living and all this stuff. And so we don't want to have all this stuff, so we intend to purge a bunch of stuff eventually. But since we sort of talked about that and made that decision to do that in retirement, we're not buying nearly as much stuff. Like, we're not that we have the money to right at the moment anyway, but like, we're not spending money on needless things the way we used to do, because we've decided that we're going to downsize so much that a lot of times when we're going to make a purchase, it's that, do we really need this? Are we going to keep it? Can this fit in the RV? We'll literally, hey, can this fit in the RV? No, we don't need it. We're not going to need it. Forget about it. We won't buy it, So it's made us much better about that, I think. And I don't even know, I just got off on a total tangent that has absolutely nothing to do with this build. I don't even know how I did that, but my apologies. It kind of went off the wall there. I should probably, I don't know if I should talk a little bit about the family. I guess a little bit, even for those that aren't watching the LP, they might be kind of interested. I did mention that Garrett dad was military and they end up getting restationed. That's why they move away. Mom, Rebecca, was into fashion design, and she did a little bit of modeling, and she worked straight up until Danny was born. So she worked through a lot of Corey's childhood and all that. But once Danny was born, they had enough money. They made the decision that she could stop full-time work. And so now she just models on the side here and there. And I think that's like their main story. And so this is their family home, and we'll see this in the LP for those that watch it. And yeah, I hope you like it, and I hope you like the episode and all that. And if you do, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share, tell your friends, all that good stuff. Helps us YouTubers out a lot, and I'd appreciate it a ton. And thanks so much for spending the time with me today. I hope to see you back again next time. Bye now.